Love it. So what's going on with you and Taylor?
Dude, it's really good.
Tell me everything. Don't leave anything out.
I don't know what happened. It's like all of a sudden she, I don't know, just has like a different attitude. She told me yesterday we were headed to dinner, and she's like, "Hey, can I tell you something?" Kind of smile like, "Well, yeah, yeah." She's been on antidepressants for, since I met her. So 7, 8+ years, and she told me a week ago she stopped taking them.
Nice.
At first, my mind, of course, wanted to go into the well, did you talk to your doctor? Did it's like I wanted to do like the fix thing, and I immediately just like kind of caught myself and was like, well, is there anything you want to talk about? Like, I didn't know if she really wanted to talk about something in particular with it. She didn't. She just wanted to tell me, and I don't know. She just felt open enough to tell me, or comfortable enough to open up and tell me, and so I just let her know if she needed anything. That I'm obviously here to support her in any way I can, and kind of left it at that.
Dude, this is amazing. So, it's actually an indication of how well things are going with you, right? So, a lot of women, well, people are on antidepressants, right? Let's use your wife, though, as the example. So, we know that, most commonly people want to be medicated for anxiety, for depression, for all these kinds of things, right? But we know that when we show up and provide that different sort of tone in the home, which obviously, you're working out well. That could be a good example for her. I'm not sure if she's working out or not. But there's lots of different things.
She started that as well.
Okay, so this brings me to my point. So, she has anxiety, depression, she's medicating, but by you showing up and providing a better example, a better way to conquer that, she's now following the lead that you are providing. And now she's got to a point where she's comfortable to come off, and hopefully she worked it out with her doctor, because sometimes you have to taper and things like that. But you not trying to fix it was amazing. Wonderful. You're there to support her, and love her through it and figure out what's going on. Dude, this is remarkable. This is awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been, other than whenever you and I talked, there was kind of a few days there where there was just, typical ebb and flow, I guess, but it was kind of getting to me and we talked, outside of that few days. Really the last month has been really, really, really good.
That's amazing, man. Now, I want you to be prepared for something, right? So we know that she's going to potentially be up and down a little bit in general, right? And we know that we were like that as men too, until we got in control of this, right? So now add in the fact that she's coming off the antidepressants. This could affect that mood a little bit for obvious reasons. So just be prepared, right? It's going to be a lot more loving her through it and a lot less of trying to fix it. Right? You want her to come to her own realizations. And what I mean by that would be, say, for example, if she needs to talk to the doctor or whoever prescribed the medicine, so that she can start to, get more help with that. Maybe she needs to also work out more. Maybe she does need to look at the diet a little bit more. Maybe she needs to do some more positive things in her life, like purpose, like you're doing. But you'll be tempted to try to teach all that, right? If she starts to go through these ups and downs. So just chill. Remember, that's probably going to happen. And hey, if it doesn't, great. But just prepare yourself in case it does. Okay, cool?
Okay, yeah.
Awesome. Now, what about anything else? Like you said, everything's been going incredible for last month. What's going on, like with the dating, with your work on communication, for example? You guys were doing some work together, reading the book and stuff. What's going on with the regular life, man?
Yeah, so something I was talking to Ryan about the other day, I've been trying to be, trying to focus a lot more on the first order versus second order change, and really try not to push, something specific like reading the book. You and I were talking about, I had laid out some ideas. So, they've already been laid out. So I'm trying not to like rehash things and just let her, things are improving, if communication is going to improve without the book, we don't need the book to improve communication. It was just one of my ideas to improve communication, but she's clearly taking an effort to communicate in a different way, and it just seems different how she's reached out multiple times. Like if she's going to be late for work, just like a simple text, like, "Hey, something came up at work. I'm going to be late. Should be home by like 5:30." And in the past, she would just not say anything, and I'd be sitting here wondering, like, normally she's home 2 hours before that. So it's just little things like that I've noticed a lot the last couple of weeks.
That's incredible. When you think about first order change and forcing her to do it versus second order where she wants to make things different, make a change, see it for herself. That's exactly what happened by you working out, right? Eating better, by you taking the initiative to control your emotions, respond, not react. That's exactly what happened with the antidepressants. And now that's what you'll find with the communication as well. That was just an idea because she clearly was going off in bits of tangents and things like that. However, if she's now taking your lead on response versus reaction, that's not appropriate to be slamming iPads or slamming doors. Well, then you're doing it right. She's wanting to be different because this does feel better than being upset, being angry. Like the other day when you were talking about her, you know, how she leaves the house, spins the tires, whatever, you can tell the difference. So if you're noticing all this, dude, your leadership is on par right now, man. This is incredible, dude. Well done.
Good. Thanks, man. Feels good for sure. Definitely feels like there's been a little shift for sure.
Okay, now tie that into her mood and to the communication and the feelings that she has of being a little overwhelmed, knowing where you're at. Okay, remember to love her through it. She's not in a program, she's following your lead. And this is all real new to her because even though your growth has been going on for a while, she's really only starting to accept it in the last little bit here, right?
Yeah,
Okay, does that make sense?
it does. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anything that you need help on or anything from me?
No, looking good.
Okay, awesome. All right, Josh, we haven't heard from you in a while. Do you want to go?
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it.
Everything's been amazing, really.
hmm
I've really got no complaints. We've come a long way.
hmm
We're starting to do a lot more together.
Good.
And over the weekend, I sort of got home early Friday, and I just decided, I might pull the jet ski out, hook it up, and Jess came out and said, "What are you doing?" And I just said, "Go and get your stuff ready. We're going to the beach." And she was wrapped with that. It was sort of a bit of a surprise, and I think she enjoyed it.
Nice.
We've come a long way with our parenting.
hmm
Our youngest daughter, Abby, she's sort of starting to follow us in the sense of our moods, how we react to her bad behaviour. So that's really starting to improve as well.
So you mean
So,
responding?
yeah.
You're responding better to her behavior, and she's starting to
Yes.
feel more connected to you. She's starting to tame that behavior a little bit. It's going the way that
Yes.
we like. Okay, well done. That's the
Yep.
power of connection with your children, right? And then that brings you two together. So it's probably that was a major
Absolutely.
stressor for your marriage. So now
Yep.
you guys are getting over this massive obstacle with your kids, and what you're finding is it's improving the quality time outside of your kids, which is what marriage
Yep.
is also all about, right? And specifically about. So, Josh, well done, man. Well done. That was a
Thank
really big
you.
struggle for you, dude. We're getting some good
It
wins
was.
here.
Yeah, no, we're coming forward in leaps and bounds now. We're really starting to find each other again and starting to remember why we got married in the first place.
Yes. Awesome.
It's been amazing.
Josh, that's amazing. So again, I just want to reinforce when you use the reset, don't get comfortable and complacent when things start to go good, right?
Yeah.
Continue to implement what you're learning. So let me use the example with your child. So, she does have a big outburst and it kind of looks like it's going backwards again, right? Or that's how you feel. You feel triggered. You maintain your response to her, your empathetic nature to her. You just continue to just love on her, pour into her. And then what you're going to find is that you're going to continue to show up consistently on the track, and your wife is going to stop running the side of your car. Like less and less she's going to do it. Okay. And you guys will start continuing to lift each other up. And like the words you used, we're starting to remember why we started this thing, got married in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That's it, man. All this is a married version with kids, right? That's it.
Yeah.
So Awesome. Don't get comfortable. Don't get complacent. Don't get frustrated if she starts to challenge you again, right? To make sure
Yeah.
it's real. Or maybe it's just that she's having a bad day and she's not in a
Yeah.
program like you. Love her through it. Okay.
She
Respond
had
to her.
she had a bit of she had a bit of a rough day. I think it was Wednesday, Thursday last week.
Hmm.
And I just came home with the yes tone, kept up, you know, that happy vibe. And she sort of lifted herself out of it within an hour. And that
Amazing.
sort of, it showed me how powerful your mood can be in that moment.
Yeah, man. Catherine and I are going to do we just started a new podcast. So it's not released yet, but we're going to do an episode on leadership because our view of leadership is much different, right? But that's where I believe a man leads. It's the energy in the home. And I was talking about it a little bit yesterday on the live that we were recording that we're already at a different state, right? It's not 100% my responsibility anymore because now Catherine is so far in her growth journey too. And we understand different triggers, right? If where we're at during the day, the kids will trigger us at different times where we can step in and adjust the mood for each other, for the home. But overall, this is exactly right. Like Catherine gets way more frustrated with life and struggles or organizing the calendar, feeling disorganized, feeling like, oh crap. Like actually today she filmed a piece of content that was like, I know where 5 o'clock somewhere comes from. It's because you have children and you're a stay-at-home mom, you know? And like, so they're influencing that mood all day, right?
Yeah.
Just in Catherine's world. This can be different for other women. So that's where it does matter, where we can control it. So well done, man. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, tone all around, man. I love it. Is there anything that you feel like you're struggling on? Have you been moving, for example, into bigger and brighter conversations? Are you goals, achieving them, intimacy, anything there we need to discuss?
Intimacy still isn't great, but we're still working on our own connections because it's been so long. We've sort of grown so far apart there with general connection.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to focus on that as much as possible. It's a bit tricky with a 6-year-old running around the house like a little tornado, but we try and find time, at least 3-4 times a week to sit down once the kids are in bed and just have a genuine talk about.
That's all good, but I don't want to focus just on communication, like conversation. You're already starting to do that. You had a little bit of fun there with the jet ski. Cool. If you want to increase the intimacy now, then I want you to start bringing some of those mini dates out. I want you to start bringing out like a good date where you can have a conversation out in the world, not in mom mode, where she's not in mom mode at all. Okay. And I want you to start, have you started like banter, texts, affirmations, the lovers list? Have you started that stuff too?
Yes, and the sticky notes.
Good.
I really like going crazy with those.
Okay, well, make sure you don't do the same thing. Variety, frequency, consistency. Go through the toolbox and use all the different ideas. Come up with some of your own, bounce them off Lords, whatever. You want to keep it different and unique, right? That's why we don't go to the same 5 restaurants, right? Or always jet skiing, or the same 4-day conversation, date night, right? Like keep it interesting. So, for example, maybe you watch a show. But, I'm a big fan of reality shows to get her to lose the drama, right? So you watch the reality show, you pause and you talk. Totally different conversation than life, right? Okay. And then also, are you making advances? Like you guys are moving up the rejection ladder quite nicely. So are you starting to make advances? A hug in the hallway, a squeeze her hand as you pass her, a squeeze of the bum, touch on the shoulder, a hug, embrace, I love you, the long kiss, all that stuff. Are you doing any of that?
Yeah, probably not as much as I should be though.
Okay, dial in. It sounds like you're being a really, really great lover, but if you want to increase the intimacy, you need to be an incredible player too. And then the magnetism will happen on its own when you wrap your head around the fact that we all have kids. It's a little hard with kid running around. Okay, don't frame your mind that way. Get out of that mindset. Okay. I would suggest right now you go revisit Man at Play go through the module again, and then bring any questions you have. I have a sneaky suspicion you've got this. You just need to be reminded, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. I'll get straight onto that.
Beauty. Well done. Nice to hear the win, man.
Thanks, Cass.
You got it, buddy. All right. Hey, Bryn, tell us everything, man. Oops, I accidentally muted you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Australia's in the house today, it looks like.
Yeah. Excuse me. I got sleep just down the hallway, so it can't be too loud.
No
So
problem.
sorry if it's hard to hear me.
No problem.
Oh shit. I am trying to get my head around life and everything. Catch up with the training I'm going through. Got partway through the original training that you had up, so I've started on the new stuff you've got now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm busy. Yeah, my financial situation is very interesting. I've had all the tax from having a good year last year and a shit start to the year, and employees that I paid for and all that sort of stuff is caught up. So now I'm in a sort of shit position financially, and busy trying to get my head around whether I can actually make it work or not. And going bankrupt is really not something that I'm looking forward to. I'm pretty much unemployable with the needs of the family, so getting a job isn't a great prospect.
Have you given up on your business?
No, I haven't given up on it, but I can't see how I can make it work, which is really frustrating.
Why do you say that? What is the hold up here? What's the problem?
Well, whenever my kids get sick, I'm needed at home, which means that I can organise a whole bunch of work and I have to just dump it down the drain. Excuse me, if the kids get sick, if Lani needs me for whatever reason, Lani got sick a little while ago. She literally had half a collapsed lung from an infection that she had. We didn't realise for a couple of days. So that was time at home. Then the kids were on holidays, and I tried to get some work done. That was just after that, and I literally just spent a week at home just trying to get my head around life, and it was good just hanging out with them and spending good time with the family, but not very productive for that. So
totally get that. So my mind goes two different directions. How are you and your wife doing right now?
All right, actually. I had a bit of a fight yesterday because she kind of called me out on being slack ass and not getting up in the morning and not doing the things that I do to make my business work.
That's right. So if your wife's calling you out on that, then I mean, of course, you're gonna have to make some sort of concession there. Is she working a full-time job right now?
No, she does a couple hours a week. Her job's quite intense, but she does about 15 hours a week in her work.
Okay, so a couple of things come to my mind, Brent. So the first thing I would think of is getting your wife into moms groups if she's not already, and seeing if you guys can organize some support. She's not a people person. She's not interested in, she's got some friends from school, and most of them piss her off anyway. So she's an interesting one. She doesn't take shit from anyone. She's literally in a full-blown fight with her parents at the moment because they won't respect that we ask them, if you're sick, please let us know, and we'll just because of your child's lung condition.
They catch everything.
Yeah, they just, immune deficiency as well.
I'm not sure, because they were twins and they were preemies. Immune system isn't up to scratch. They catch everything, and the parents are like, oh, they're going to get sick anyway. We're like, we don't want to put them. Yes, they're going to get sick. But,
that's totally different. Okay, so
and she's literally willing to never see her parents again unless they pull their heads in.
All right, this is what I want. For step one, I want you to go through the new reset, go through Man with Impact, and I want you to learn how to have a hard conversation with your wife because you guys are still getting along well enough. This is what I thought of immediately when you said that your wife's not a people person, but she's on you about the getting up early and doing what you need to for your business. So two things. Once you know how to have that conversation with her, love her through it, making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. So you are getting up early, you are staying up later, you are doing what you must do, okay? Then you can have that conversation about support. It might be tough to be a people person, but in a Facebook group, just looking for another mom, you don't have to have ever made a post before, but looking for another couple moms that might need to swap. We've done that lots before, okay? Now, the reason why I say a couple is because that way, if anything comes up, and more than a couple, like I get like 10, you'll find those moms groups work really, really well. And then here's why, because if one of those families is sick, then you can try to see if another family can jump on board. Okay. The next thing I suggest is potentially looking at your business model, right? So you might need to think about switching directions and pivoting a little bit. For example, you might want to think about you're a plumber, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, so you might want to think about, is there some sort of online course that I can teach that could be different for how they could do it, right? How you can build your business, how you can scale, how you can do whatever. And you might be thinking, well, but I'm not scaling mine. You've got a bit of a different situation. It doesn't matter if you learn what needs to happen. And or last thing is, in the meantime, can you get someone on the job for you, right? And so when you're at
I don't
home,
think so.
why
I
not?
just don't think so. But because I don't have the money there, the cash flow to put. I'm trying to put money aside to
So-
even get ahead, to have a buffer there to be able to pay someone.
Here's-
And so that's a.
Here's how you do it. You just start cold calling or knocking on doors. Do it the old fashioned way and get people like that want something fixed. Maybe you got to move into a little bit of bathroom reno or something like that as well.
There's no problems with the workflow.
Mhm.
It's getting the work done. I start getting ahead, and I have to take time off, and the money drains away.
All right. So the only way you get ahead is by getting into the red and making it happen. So what you do is you get somebody to take those jobs. Again, find 10 guys who want odd jobs, right? Who are qualified, who can do it, right? And then when something happens, you're at least still profiting, right? You bill accordingly for what the job is worth, and you pay your contractor, your employee, to do the work for you, and you're still making some money. And now you can start calling all the people you've helped. Do you know anybody who needs help? Can you get into bathroom rentals? So I want you to get out of the limiting belief of like, I'm stuck because of my child. Everybody has problems. Okay. So when we can get out of the fact that we just have a unique situation, you realize I just have to overcome my situation. If you've already tried everything, quote unquote, then you're committed to the solution that doesn't exist, because somebody else has gone through this before. Somebody else has found a way. And so you're either pivoting or you're doing what you can to make this work, or both, but you're going to need to be up earlier, going to bed later, be able to have a hard conversation with your wife so that she can get some support as well. I think the easiest, personally, that's what we do, is we find a way to swap childcare, to pay for childcare, whatever we have to do, so that we can get ahead further to reach the next goal. Okay. And I want you to sort of think about it that way, because you don't need to be stuck here. Okay.
Yeah. That's so many bloody moving parts to making one of those things happen. That's right. We'll see what I can do.
Well, think about it like this. Do you want to be like 99% of the entrepreneurs who never make it? Because, right? And you get into new training, you wouldn't have seen this in the old reset, but the new reset, we'll talk about the nice guy triangle. We'll talk about how we blame in the end, right? And so the problem with guys like us is that typically we blame everybody. You know, my business did shit for 18 years, my gym. And then when I was out of that mindset that I could do something, I just had to figure out what, right? So as you sort of evaluate what we're talking about today, come back, go back to Lawrence, go back to the calls. This is the first time we've seen you for a while. We can walk you through a lot of these journeys. There's another guy in Australia as well. He's not on the call today, Matty, that very successful business guy, definitely construction, definitely different. He loves to help the Lords. He's doing so well with the reset. He loves to give his business experience and give you ideas. And he's going to be closer in the time zone for you, and he would love to probably have a chat with you about all this. So you can tag him, tag at Matty, and he'll come up in the group, and then organize a call with him. Okay, he's going to be really honed in on construction for sure. Okay, cool.
Where are we? Just see if I can find it. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. Anything else that you need?
I just need to start turning up. I've got my shock alarm clock working again. It stopped working for a while again, which is part of the problem. But yeah, no, I just want us to work on like I don't trust myself. I can't rely on myself, and that's obviously incredibly frustrating. And so I just want to start building myself up, getting my habits in place, feeling like I can actually rely on myself and trust myself to do what I need to do.
Well,
Even if I don't win every single time.
do you know what? It comes from a self-limiting belief in all these mindsets, right? And this is the same in your relationship. This is the same with health goals. This is the same with your business as an entrepreneur, or even your job if you're working for someone. Okay. It comes down to what's up here in our head, right? We like you just said something very key. You said the failure, right? Even though I might fail again, actually every failure is a lesson to teach you success, right? And so you can already look back to all these reasons that you've failed and start to implement change, you know? And at least it won't be 18 years like it was for me with my gym. You know what I mean? So I want you to think about it like that. If you think the limiting beliefs, most of the time, that's the first problem. Secondly, then yes, you can make things happen. So I know I said go to bed earlier, stay up later. Well, maybe if you're going to bed at 9 o'clock and you're getting up at 4 in the morning, you're getting things done before the world wakes up, right?
Yeah.
And literally in Australia for sure. So, you know, if you think about it like that, you're already taking action, right? If you don't have time, which you don't right now because of your business, you'll think, I don't want to work out, right? But when you make that a priority, when you eat right, lose the booze, budgeting where you can, things like that, right? Then you'll start to realize, oh, there's a little more freedom in the account. Plus, I feel so much better. I feel a little less stressed and I'm working out. And now getting up early starts to work even better. And you just start to stack these things. Okay. So do something for me as a little bit of homework. Come back to us with some of the things that you are struggling with when we talk about trusting yourself. Now, that could be like to get up early in the morning, right? But that could also be like I'm hyper focused on the fact that I disappoint my wife, meaning I don't feel good enough about myself. I'm not a good man, right? And that will I fully believe entrepreneurs fail because they don't have their marriage in check, in line. Because when you wear your heart on your sleeve, and this is even if you're making money, you could be so much further ahead, you know, like on a whole, obviously not every entrepreneur, but on a whole, when you're feeling that disappointment from your wife, when you guys are rocky, when you're not doing well, this would not even be just entrepreneurs. This is any business one, anybody working at a job. Sorry, you are working wherever you're working and you're distracted, you're insecure, you're getting in your head for sales. You're getting in your head for limiting beliefs like, oh crap, I can't because I have to go take care of my daughter, right? And so when you get out of this mindset, you start to realize, okay, if I'm strong with my partner, I can take this out. Now, in the meantime, we're not perfectly there yet. You just have to focus on moving the business forward anyway, okay? So come back to us with what you're struggling with so that we can help you overcome that. Because be as specific as you can, because it's really individual to you, right? For example, another guy might already be working out and still be lost, right? Okay, so be really clear with us, okay? Okay, awesome. All right, you got it, man. Hey, Jeff, can you give me an update, please?
Just nothing. I would say nothing crazy has happened, negative or positive. I just started marking on my calendar because I want to go 90 days strong with how I'm showing up and not, responding versus reacting. And I've done a great job the last week. But I'm just taking notes for the end of the year. I want to go through the end of the year so that if I do walk away, I feel good about my choice and don't look back and say, I could have done this, or this better. So taking that accountability, but it's just little things. I mean, she was sick this weekend. We had family time at the cabin. She slept like 12 hours and then she was mad because she missed out on a lot of stuff. And then this week's been busy. So we haven't had there's just not a lot of energy in the relationship right now, honestly.
All right,
I feel like she's coasting.
I think she's coasting. That's partly due to her sabotage. It's one of her techniques. But I think there's something that's more important here. A lot of the times when you update, you get back to, you've gone from everything's so great to I'm resetting the 90 days and I'm about a week in. Sometimes it's 2 weeks. And this is your pattern, right?
Yeah.
And so what you need to be more focused on is not really about her coasting. You need to be focused on you showing up. So I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but I want to really make it clear that you've done this a few times. We need to start looking at what's going on. It's not just response versus reaction. It's you're nice guy. I'm not good enough. I'm feeling like this isn't fair. The world is out to get me, especially her, right? And then you can't respond because you've lost your power, right? Does that make sense?
Yep, and that's what I'm trying not to do. And it's just little things like I'm getting a lot better because, like, one example is I mentioned this morning when I got up, hey, I'm going to make some lunch. I have to make some lunch for me. If you're, hungry around that time, I'll toss you some food too because she's got meetings all day. So I ended up making like fried egg sandwiches, whatever.
Yeah.
And I bring one to the office for her, and she's not on the phone. And it was kind of like a little bit of a test, but I just put it in there. And I started like going down my head, oh, this is going to be a give to get. I'm looking for a thank you. I'm looking for an I love you. But I am also watching those things just because I've been doing this so long, and she didn't say thank you. I wasn't looking for any gracious stuff, but she's instead kind of spun and said, I wish you would have communicated better. I just had a snack. And I get frustrated because it's like I told her this morning I'm making lunch at XYZ time, and I'll make you some.
Well, and also even if you hadn't, Jeff, that's kind of a ridiculous statement. Like, who cares? Like, I'll eat the sandwich. You know what I mean? Like, it should be a thank you. You're right. But here's the problem with your thought process. So you're keeping score to know where you should be at the end of your 90 days when you know you have to show up for 90 days. Instead, I know you love her, and I know you ultimately want to marry her, right? So if you can think about what my ultimate outcome is, we don't want to think about the possibility of going sideways. What we want to think about is showing up consistently, doing what the guy at the end of the 90 days would be doing right now, learning what you know, implementing. I love the thought process of, is this my nice guy? Am I giving to get, etc. But lose the get and just focus on being, because that way, at the end of 90 days, there's no pressure. There's no rush. You can literally start deciding then because you already know internally. See, right now, if there's any give to get, you'll actually be keeping score and it won't support your growth. It will tear you down and you'll repeat this cycle again.
Well, here's where I struggle, Cass, is because, the Nice Guy book, Dr. Glover's book, when she does stuff like that or says, and it wasn't in a mean way, but it's just like, I wish you would have communicated with me and there wasn't a thank you. I really didn't do it for a give to get. I was truly making food for myself anyway. It was easy, and I know she's stacked up with her schedule, but where I struggle is when she does stuff like that, it makes me want to pull back or just worry about myself and not worry about making her food, even though it's because it
sucks being treated poorly. We know that relationships should be reciprocal. Here's the problem. Until you can look in the mirror, there isn't any real expectation. And I use that word very lightly, okay? But of course, when you know who you are and you are proud, you're your best, most authentic version, you know you're the man, husband, father, leader in life, of course it's a reciprocal relationship or this will not work. And then we enter the patience formula and we go through, all the stuff we learn in the reset, okay? But first things first, you have to be able to show up before we can look at that reciprocal side of things, what should be. But that's when we get to inviting her along, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you've gone to inviting, but you keep repeating your cycle, which in some ways has gotten a lot worse, right? And so we can't even begin to scratch the surface of that stuff yet, unless you know you're showing up.
And I feel good about the last week. There was a couple times I could have got sucked in her victim triangle Sunday night, and she was crabby, and she looked at me and said, "You're so annoying." Because I just said I'd asked. We hadn't talked about therapy and her being away for one night a week. I thought about it. I don't even have my kids one weekend this month just because of stuff going on. My ex-wife needed them, and so that's not even a factor. But I asked her on Sunday night when we got home. I said, "What's your plan for Thursday?" Just trying to touch base with her because we hadn't said anything. Well, you're not going to support it anyway. She just started, and then she said, "You're so annoying and so controlling." And I just let it roll off. I didn't respond shitty. I just said, I'm just going to step away from this right now. It's just not going to go to a good spot. And I said, I understand where you're coming from, and I just left it alone. Where old Jeff would have.
Yeah, I think that's an improvement, but start providing the structure for where we want it to go, right? Actually, don't have the kids. I'm looking forward to Thursday night. You know what I mean? Like bring her to where you want to be, because you weren't doing it for any malicious reason. And in your case, I don't think entirely she should be assuming it's the old you. It's not like you completely mess up when you are starting over the new week. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now don't go too crazy with that, but just understand, like, do what that guy would do. That would be what she's excited to see. Well, we don't have the kids. Okay, I don't have to go or whatever, right? And show her the direction that you want to go. Okay.
And at that point, to be fair, I didn't realize on the calendar that I didn't have the kids, that it was October, and like we have a couple things going. I got my brother's wedding this weekend, and then we're gonna go on a trip with each other, and the other 2 weekends are my ex-wife. So that's why I don't have the kids. Regardless, I forgot that going into this whole thing about Thursday, so it wouldn't make sense that she needs to be away anyway, because the whole point was so she could reset going into the weekend with kids. So I haven't brought it up since. We'll see what she does. But there was a couple times where she was just crabby and irritated and tried to suck me into her victim triangle. And what you and I talked about last time, I really noticed, like, we had 3 solid good weeks, and I do really believe that she like put herself in a bad mood. And of course, I fell victim to falling into her triangle. And that's what, if I could have held strong in that moment, we probably wouldn't be in this spot. We're better than we were last time I talked to you, but now it's just kind of a very status quo. There's not a lot of energy in the relationship right now.
You turn up the yes tone if there's no energy in the relationship. You guys have the capability, your marriage right now, or like your relationship right now, you have the capability for incredible, right?
Mhm.
But we already recognize that she safe reacts to protect herself, keep herself safe, and she stays in her triangle. Okay. So you bring the yes tone, you bring the energy, you provide the structure for where you want to go while you're showing up every day, proud of who you are, and mostly on a whole, you are. It's just that you keep getting into your triangle and letting her mood affect you. And then all of a sudden you have to talk yourself out of being the old guy, not the guy you are mostly now. Okay.
And there's been a couple, as far as like, we're still, she'll hold my hand at night. She'll give me, like yesterday, she gave me a kiss for work. So all that's there. Sex, I've tried 4 times now, been rejected every time. It's been, I think it's we're on day 27 or something of no sex. And I do recognize stepping back. 2 of the times I tried were when we were trying to leave to go out of town. She was super stressed. And I looked at her, I said, "Hey babe, let's go fuck this stress out of each other. Like just put it out there." And she's like, "Not right now. Unless you want to get to the cabin at 7 p.m. We're running behind. But don't worry." And then she got defensive because, she's thinking old Jeff. She said, "But don't get butthurt because, it can happen up at the cabin. We can make it happen. Even if there's people around, we have our own bedroom, whatever."
Well, this is just I'm proud of you. So you were kind of fun, cute, whatever, rejected, handle it well. That's totally cool. Yeah. We understand why. You're totally not connected. She's in too much of a sabotage mode. Not even a contemptuous, not like the normal start of the reset. Like she's just in sabotage mode when things go well for a bit, right? We recognize her. So again, if you continue to respond, not react, sounds like you did well with the rejection, then we can start connecting more on different levels of the intimacy, climbing the rejection ladder and going for it, right?
This is the strongest I've been so far in the reset program with my respond versus my interact, because I'm so hyper aware of it now, because I want to do the 90 days strong so I have choice at the end of it and feel good about it. So that's just my goal. I'm focusing on myself and stuff, but it is hard to not pull back on things like tossing her some food when I'm making my own when she responds like that. What is your suggestion going forward? Should I just focus more on me, still be fun and flirty, but not do so many things for her? Or should I just go about my business?
Do what you normally do. If you're making a fried egg sandwich and you want to make her a fried egg sandwich at the same time, go ahead. We already know she doesn't like to be bothered in between, right, with work. Right. So that doesn't mean she's not going to eat. It just means that you're not going to go interrupt her twice, once with food and once with the conversation about it first, right? The problem that happens with